Okay, I want you to try something for me. Right now, it might feel a bit weird, but just picture this. You're alone, maybe slumped on the couch after a long day, or you're in bed in the dark. You unlock your phone.
That blue light hitting your face?
Exactly that blue light. You open your go-to social app, the one you know you spend too much time on, and you look at your For You page.
The endless scroll. Yeah.
Now, here's the question, and I want you to really think about it.
Huh.
When you look at that feed, do you see yourself, or do you see a stranger?
It's a really haunting question when you put it like that. We all just assume these algorithms are mirrors, right? We think, oh, it's showing me political outrage because that's what I'm interested in. But what happens when that mirror starts showing you this twisted, paranoid version of yourself?
And what happens if you start believing that's who you really are?
That is the terrifying premise behind the source material for our deep dive today. We're looking at a concept album, an EP, called Digital Twin by an artist named Ti-Fi.
And I know what you're thinking. A concept album about an algorithm. But this is so much more than just a few songs.
Oh, absolutely. It's a 5-track journey into the madness of that algorithmic mirror. The sound is this mix of alt-pop, really gritty industrial noise, and then this kind of ethereal shoegaze.
Yeah.
But the backstory where it gets really compelling.
Right, because Ti-Fi isn't just a musician who, decided to write about her phone. For 6 years, she was a tech journalist, a community moderator. She lived inside the machine.
She knew how the sausage was made. I mean, she spent years hunting for scoops, dealing with these incredibly toxic online communities, just swimming in the raw data of the internet. She wasn't just a user, she was an operator.
But then her offline life just completely shattered. She survived a sexual assault, which, it obviously left her in a state of severe trauma, and this is where the two worlds collide in this really dark way.
At the exact same time, she was investigating a story professionally about something called algorithmic polarity.
Okay, that's a key concept. For those of us who aren't deep in the tech weeds, what does that actually mean? Algorithmic polarity.
So it's basically the mechanism where platforms weaponize proximity.
Weaponized proximity. Unpack that.
Sure. Let's say you show a little bit of interest in, I don't know, local politics. The algorithm doesn't just show you more local news. It finds the most extreme, the most polarized version of that topic and pushes you towards it.
Because that keeps you clicking.
It keeps you clicking.
Yeah.
It moves you from interested to outraged because outrage is just way more profitable.
So you have Ti-Fi investigating this professionally while personally dealing with this horrific trauma, and the algorithm is just watching her.
It sensed the trauma. It saw the panic. And it started to build what she calls her digital twin. But here's the tragic part. Because she was doom scrolling, constantly scanning for threats, which is a classic trauma response.
A survival instinct.
It's a survival instinct. But
Maybe.
the machine didn't see a traumatized person trying to feel safe. It just saw engagement.
It mistook a panic attack for a preference.
That's it exactly. And that feedback loop is what this whole deep dive is about.
Yeah.
We're going to track the 5 songs on this EP from the moment that Twin was built to her realizing she was a hostage and finally to how she escaped.
A journey from being trapped to finding what she calls radical indifference. So let's start at the beginning. Track 1, The Architect of For You.
This track really sets the stage. She describes the algorithm not as a tool or a helpful assistant, but as an unfeeling master, an architect.
There's this one lyric that it gets under your skin. Staring at a stranger in the blue light. She's talking about how the world goes quiet, the screen gets bright, and the thing looking back at her, it's not her. It's a construct.
That to really get that, you have to understand doom scrolling. After her assault, she was hyper-vigilant. Her brain was biologically wired to scan for threats. Online, that means you pause on negative headlines. You read the scary story.
But wait, isn't that just staying informed? Why is that a trap?
Because the intent is different. She wasn't reading to be informed. She was reading to anticipate the next attack so she wouldn't get hurt again. But the algorithm it's a dumb machine. It just measures dwell time. It sees you stop scrolling and it thinks, bingo, she loves this stuff. More, please.
So the human says I'm scared, and the machine hears I'm entertained. That is, wow.
It's a massive translation error. And this brings us to this really powerful analogy she uses in the song. She compares the whole dynamic to an abusive relationship. She calls it a Judas kiss.
I want to dig into that because an app being abusive, is that poetic license or is there something real there?
I think if you look at the psychological mechanics, it's a totally valid comparison. I mean, think about the cycle of abuse. It often involves creating dependency and isolation. She says the platform guilt-tripped her into staying online. It created this feeling that if she looked away, she'd miss some vital threat.
Right, like an abuser saying, don't leave, I'm the only one who can keep you safe from the scary world out there.
Exactly. It creates dependency through fear. She has this line about the algorithm inserting a villain in the movie of my life. It builds a story where she's always under attack because a calm user might put their phone down. A user who feels like they're in a fight for their life keeps scrolling.
And you have to remember, she's a trans woman, she's a survivor. The world can already feel hostile. The algorithm took those very real fears, it validated them, and then it just cranked the volume to 11.
It weaponized her own survival instinct against her. And once you see that, well, that fear starts to curdle into something else.
Into rage, which takes us right to track 2. Don't shift your data on me.
And the vibe shifts completely. If track 1 was this kind of cold, clinical pop, this one is pure industrial. It's noisy, it's gritty, you can hear the anger.
This is where she tackles a concept that I think every single person listening needs to understand. She calls it the user behavior blame shift.
This is the argument you hear from every tech CEO, right? They all say, look, we just show people what they engage with. We're a neutral mirror. If you don't like the reflection, stop clicking on that stuff.
Don't blame us if you like watching garbage fires. It sounds logical, doesn't it?
It sounds logical, but Ti-Fi, again, speaking from her experience as a journalist, says it's a complete lie. Her point is that peace isn't profitable. Outrage is. The lyric is, I asked for the silence, for the calm and the shade. You gave me a riot that you got paid to trade.
You gave me a riot that you got paid to trade. That line is devastating. She's saying, I needed to heal, and instead you sold my panic to advertisers.
It's the commodification of cortisol, of our stress hormones. And she uses this incredible analogy to just debunk that whole neutral mirror idea. She compares the algorithm to a roommate.
Oh, I love this, the bad roommate analogy.
Okay, so imagine you come home, you're exhausted, and you just want to chill, but your roommate has gone out, dug through a dumpster, and brought a huge pile of rotting garbage into your living room. And they dump it on your floor and say, I brought this for you. This is your favorite thing. And you're like, what? No, I hate this. This is disgusting. Get it out of my house.
Right.
And the roommate just smiles and says, no, you love it. Look how much time you're spending looking at it.
You're only looking at it because there's a pile of trash in your living room, not because you asked for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She says this thing isn't a roommate. It's a parasite.
Yeah.
And the insight here is that the machine is not passive. It is actively learning how to force a river to flow on a violent course. It pushes you towards the rapids.
So she's moved from fear to rage. She sees the game. But you can't stay that angry forever. It's exhausting. You burn out.
You do. The system just wears you down, which leads to the psychological fallout.
And that's track 3, Pixel Reality. The genre shifts again, this time to shoegaze. For anyone who isn't a huge music nerd, can you explain that sound? Why that choice for this feeling?
Shoegaze is all about just being overwhelmed by sound. It's layers and layers of distorted guitar, tons of reverb. The vocals are usually buried way down in the mix. It sounds like you're underwater or drowning in noise. It's the perfect sound for dissociation.
And that's the feeling here. She describes watching a stranger living her life.
The profile has her name, her photo. But it's wearing clothes she'd never wear, listening to music she'd never choose, getting to fights she'd never start.
It's the uncanny valley, but for your own personality.
That's a perfect way of saying it. You know, that creepy feeling when a robot looks almost human but not quite? This is that feeling, but the robot is a digital version of you, and the world thinks the robot is real.
She talks about this gaslighting effect that's growing. It's genuinely scary. Her feed is screaming that the world is on fire, but she looks up on her phone and her own room is quiet.
And there's this profound fight for reality in this song. She's trying to trust her own physical senses over the digital proof. She literally screams, I trust my eyes. I trust my ears.
Why does she have to scream it?
Because the algorithm is trying to edit her memory in real time. It's showing her so much hate, so much danger, that she starts to doubt whether her own home is actually safe. It's like the feed is saying, don't believe your lying eyes, believe the trending topics.
And if you believe the trends, you stay glued to the screen because the threat feels imminent.
Right, and this is the danger zone. When a machine is feeding you manufactured fears to the point where you start questioning your own sanity, you're on the verge of a breakdown.
So she was at a crossroads. She could keep fighting the twin, keep feeding it with her anger, Or she could do something completely radical.
And this is where her professional life comes back into the picture in a big way.
This is track 4, The Great Log-Off. Remember, she's a tech journalist. She's sitting on what could be the scoop of a lifetime about algorithmic polarity, and she just walks away.
This is the part of the story that really hit me. We think of quitting social media as this big dramatic thing, right? A mic drop, you post some big manifesto.
Yeah, a blaze of glory, but that's not what happened.
Not at all. She says, it's not anger, it's not hate. It's simply the silence of the great log-off. She called it exhausted indifference.
She realized that even hating the algorithm was a form of engagement.
It's still engagement. Hate is just as profitable as love for these platforms. The real opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. To actually escape, she didn't need to win the argument. She just had to stop talking.
She uses an analogy here that I think everyone is going to get immediately. The refrigerator.
Ah, yes. This is perfect.
You know that feeling when the refrigerator hum suddenly stops, and you didn't even realize how loud that background noise was until it was gone?
That hum. That is the constant, low-level anxiety of the feed. The notifications, the outrage, the endless sense of urgency. It's the background radiation of modern life. You don't notice it's there until you unplug.
And in that silence, she could finally hear herself think again. She says the battery is dead, the screen is black, and when she looks at it, the reflection is finally just her. Not the twin, her.
It's a moment of pure reclamation. But you have to see the cost, too. She walked away from the biggest story of her career. She chose her sanity over her job. That shows you how dangerous the twin had become.
So she logs off, she heals. But here we are, we're talking about her EP, she's making music, doing podcasts, she obviously came back online. How does she manage it now? That's track 5, The White Noise of the Stream.
This is the resolution. And it's not some fairy tale ending like, I fixed the internet. It's much more mature. It's about radical acceptance.
Radical acceptance. That sounds a little passive, doesn't it? Like she's just giving up.
I don't see it that way. I think that's strategic. It's accepting that you can't stop the rain.
Yeah.
You know, the algorithm is the rain. It's always going to be raining polarized content and outrage. You can't stop it from falling. But you don't have to go stand in it until you drown.
So she reframes the For You page. It's not a mirror anymore. Now it's just white noise or static on the radio.
Exactly. It's just background chatter.
Yeah.
It has no authority over her reality. She uses this incredible metaphor in the lyrics where she says, she is the rock in the river.
Right. The feed is the rushing water. It's chaotic, it's violent, and it's always trying to pull you along with it.
But she's the rock. The rock doesn't fight the water. It doesn't care about the water. It just lets all that chaos rush right past it.
That is such a powerful image. Not fighting the current, just refusing to be moved by it.
And that's what leads to the death of the digital twin. It died not because she attacked it, but because she starved it.
She starved it of attention.
She just no longer accepts the premise that the feed is a reflection of her soul. It's just data.
It's just ones and zeros that got it wrong.
And that's liberation.
Wow. What a journey. From the architect building this false idol in the dark to finding peace in the white noise.
It really is. And I think if there's one big takeaway from all this, it's something we all need to hear. The algorithm, it doesn't know you.
It really, really doesn't.
It never did. It only knows a pattern of data points. It sees you slow down on a car crash and assumes you love car crashes. It sees you were terrified and doom scrolling and assumes you want to be more terrified. It misinterprets our most basic survival instincts as consumer preferences.
That's maybe the most validating thing I've heard all week. Just because the algorithm shows it to you, that doesn't mean it is you.
They're not the same thing. We have to separate our identity from our data profile.
So here's the challenge for you, listening right now. The next time you open that app and you feel that tightness in your chest, that little spike of anxiety, or you feel like you're arguing with this ghost version of yourself, remember Typhi's story.
Remember that you don't have to win that argument. You can't. The machine is designed to keep you arguing forever.
All you have to do is close the app and ask yourself, is this feed serving me? Or am I serving the twin?
That's the question.
Thanks for diving deep with us. Go enjoy the silence of your own refrigerator for a while. We'll see you next time.